Welcome back to the Smite Masters at DreamHack. We just had Kaos take on Enemy, Kaos just won 2 games and are now taking on Enemy. So let's jump right into the picks and bans with Hinduman and Zimstar.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And now we're here with me and Zimstar, as we said, for Enemy up against Kaos Latin Gamers. First thing, this is the very first European-only caster combination Smite has ever had.
Yeah, you're right.
On the main stage. You're pretty small for a Swede.
Yeah, but I'm still taller than you, so.
That is also true. We'll take it. You're so slimmer than me, too, and a bit better looking. Just code I'm not so sure about, though. But anyway, let's go into this game. We've got Enemy versus Kaos Latin Gamers. And Kaos Latin Gamers, they've had a rough run today. Long day for them already. Obviously, Enemy got to sit and watch that as well. But what do you think we're going to see out of Kaos Latin Gamers here? It's going to be very difficult. Do you expect them to see them want to go first pick or second pick?
I think they're going to try to opt for the second pick. First of all, because they want to be on Chaos side, obviously, due to their name. And I also think that they want to make sure they get like a steady roster of their favorite gods to be able to make sure they're comfortable going into the situation. Enemy, a very strong team. And also, like you just said, they got to watch them. So they're probably going to ban out their favorite pick anyway.
Well, here on the screen, you can see them all now. Beltway is going to be in the solo lane here for Kaos. Then in the jungle role, KBIOLA will be there for him. Numeritos on the mid lane, followed by Daelon in the support role, who we interviewed earlier. And finally, we're going to have the Hunter player there as well, Zalonsix. And then across the way, we do also have the #1 North American team coming to DreamHack today. They've sat around all day waiting for this, and here we go. Marauder will be in the solo lane for them. He's had a great season so far as a rookie. Next up, another new rookie on the stage, Varizial, coming to the action here. Mid lane, they've got Kaos, one of the solid players in North America, and doing very well for himself. And then over to PainDeViande, the captain, General Pain. And finally, but not least, PandaCat, the aggressive hunter. And you can see he's here to play. These guys of Enemy looking great today. And honestly, a little bit refreshed. I'm not sure if they're as fresh as they wanted to be, with obviously the delays we had today, but they've been able to sit there and look at Kaos Latin Gamers and then decide what they're going to do.
It is a huge advantage, of course. I mean, looking at the team and just making sure, you know, you write down everything they're doing, make sure you ban out the difficult gods to handle is very key. And they had a rough start in the first game. They fell behind. Game was reset due to technical reasons. This means that, you know, they actually turned it around, but you could definitely spot the weak points in that team from game one.
The big thing about Kaos Latin Gamers too is all these guys have never been on an international stage before. So this is their first international LAN. That was their first game on stage, and those nerves should be subsiding now a little bit. So they've had that practice. Well, they've had their first games, you know, they're always the worst ones, and now they get to face off against enemies, so they look a little bit more settled now.
Yeah, they definitely do. However, again, they're playing against a region now which is a little bit more advanced, has played Smite for a bit longer, and Enemy, a very, very strong team.
And Enemy coming into this one as well. Like we said, they had a very, very good run in the regular season. They went to the World Championships, made a couple of roster changes afterwards. But then once again, they weren't predicted to get as far as they have done in the Pro League. And now look at them, the #1 seed, very calm, collected. It's all because of this man here, General Pain. He's put another great team together.
General Pain, I will just quote Incontinential on this one. He and I can probably speak for all of us, we underestimated Enemy for the last time. You know, going into Worlds Season 2, nobody expected them to finish at second place.
Not at all.
After ripping through Paradigm.
Ripping through Paradigm, and now, well, they're going to have an opportunity to potentially face off against Paradigm if they can beat the Kaos Latin Gamers here, because obviously Thor versus Paradigm is still to come today as well. But into this one, we're going to be looking, and PainDeViande obviously leading the troops from the front. The whole team talks about the fact that he does lead, but he allows everybody on this team to make a contributing part to it. It's no one clear leader. They all talk and communicate, but PainDeViande, he keeps an eye on the whole scene as a whole, and then communicates more information because of it.
Pain, a very acclaimed leader. I've heard from numerous sources and his players that he's a very good leader in game, and also keep the composure of the team where it should be, to make sure, you know, they always have the mindset where it should be when it comes to the game, even if they fall behind.
So in picks and bans then for Enemy's sake, are we expecting to see them just go for comfort picks here, just for safety of the very first game of the day?
Yeah, we're probably going to see General Pain trying to opt for the Guan Yu, very comfortable on that god. I believe he is 9-1 in the SPL week 1.
Yeah, he's also got Athena up there as well. Capri's available too for him. A nice little opportunity for him there. As we do go into picks and bans, and it will be Enemy with that first pick. Now, Varizial, a lot of Thor play out of him this season as well. And we mentioned, you know, the opportunity to go for the safe picks, get themselves settled in this game to begin begin with on the first time on the stage. And maybe we'll see Kaos Latin Gamers take that one away.
Yeah, we've also seen Varizial as one of the only players actually opting to play Arachne in the SPL. So it'd be interesting to see Arachne come out as well. I don't think a lot of teams know how to deal with that god.
Not really, and I think the way Varizial plays it too is you expect it to be played a certain play style, mostly defensive and mid to late game, but Varizial very, very aggressive with it. Well, first ban's now coming through Susano from Enemy. They don't want to have to deal with that. And in response, Khepri from KLG. They definitely don't want to see PainDeViande on that.
Not surprising. Khepri, a very, very strong pick. You don't want to let Khepri to a good team like Enemy. It's just going to spell trouble when you can't find those picks due to the ultimate.
And with that Raijin ban from Enemy there, they're just looking to take away the powerhouses at the moment in the ban section. Raijin, Susano, almost guaranteed to be played most of the time. Take them off the table and go, okay, KLG, we're just going to play a game with all the regular picks.
Yeah, as we say, Athena going here. They're definitely targeting General Pain here to make sure the dual lane doesn't get ahead.
So they're trying to limit what he can do in this game, but they do leave that Thor open for Varizial here. Varizial's had a very good season on this, and if he can continue to perform the way he has done, and obviously land settings as well, you know, you've got that zero ping coming into account, where things are a lot easier to connect. And I guess, you know, as a coach of Paradigm previously yourself, you must know all about what it's like to play the land scenario.
Yeah, it's very, very different, especially playing guys like Thor, which is very reliant on actually having a good ping, a good reaction on your abilities to chain everything perfectly, especially the stun, the wall hammer combination. It's interesting to see Khaos actually taking away Guan Yu from Pain and just taking the soul. Very safe pick. Really
smart idea here, because obviously they've taken away the Khepri by the banning him and the Athena. Now take his Guan Yu away from him in the picking phase. And now it looks like we may see him heading over towards the Sobek here, and he will be looking in the Sobek.
Yeah, Sobek on Pain, interesting pick. He hasn't played it that much in the SPL.
Not really.
But then again, he's probably a very good player on Sobek as well. I've personally never seen him play it, but I'm against a team like Khaos, I'm pretty sure he feels confident.
Well, do you see what else they locked in there, though? The Artemis for PandaCat. That is not a shock. It's been one of his go-tos all season. And my, oh my, his performances have been insane.
I'm excited to see him on Artemis. He's actually 9-0 in the SPL on Artemis. Insane stats, obviously, with the Artemis buff to her ultimate. Very strong pick right now, especially on the hands on a mechanically gifted player like PandaCat.
And PandaCat is a mechanically gifted, but very aggressive too. He will buy Blink on Artemis and look to Blink initiate with the Caledonian Boar, look to try and find the picks everywhere he can, and it's surprising them. And PandaCat said himself, it's an extra initiator for the team if he needs to be.
Yeah, especially now that the boar is actually really, really fast. And also the time between targets has been improved to, I believe, 0.5 seconds, which means potentially the entire team is going to be stunned within 2.5 seconds.
Well, Giannis banned out by KLG there, and obviously with them getting that soul there, we saw them pick up soul last game as well, and it went to the mid lane for them, so they're probably going to do the same thing. Bacchus with the Guan Yu, and now the Zeus is now banned out as well.
Heavy initiation here by Khaos. Guan Yu and Bacchus going into the backline will definitely play a big role in his team fight. He's looking probably for the Artemis to just blow her up before she can pop her board.
I know KLG will have the option for themselves, and I'm looking at Enemy's roster here. They need a solo laner, and they need a mid laner, but one more important thing they need is another initiator for themselves, I feel. They're going to have Thor to like, go in and out. Sobek for the initiation. I want to see the Vamana maybe from Marauder. He's played it a lot this season.
Yeah, Marauder also really good at Sun Wukong and Bellona. Sun Wukong, I believe, is something like 5-0. He's a bit more pokey-ish. It's a bit harder to engage with Sun Wukong. It's not really the hard engage that comes from a Bacchus or an Odin, for example, or even a Guan Yu with the stun. Sun Wukong more of a pokey, go into the backline, disrupt everything. Ulti, you know, bore through an entire team, just disruption.
It's very, very true. And the benefit here for KLG as well, take that one in. Is that Nox pick?
A Nox pick here would be amazing. I would love to see him play Nox.
Well, Nox brings a lot of control to this game as well. The silence and the big AoE can really shut down Assassins and Guardians. They both want to use their abilities to get in, but silence just keeps them out of the competition every single time. They have to escape the silence first of all, and if they can find the combo of this, it's good. It's just not that easy.
Exactly. If you actually miss, and you see here, this Nox, hard to confirm damage with, even if you're a really good player like Khaos, and you only confirm it, let's say 80 or 90% of the time, she has extremely long cooldowns, right? So if you actually don't hit your stuff, you're basically in a 4-on-5 situation for quite some time. And, you know, that Soul can just pump out and dish out damage with her auto attacks.
Now, we say that, though, but when we look at her confirming the damage on her own, yeah, it's difficult. But look at that lineup she's going with to help her.
Very
the
true.
Thor wall, the Sobek, and now a Cabrakan as well.
Even the Cabrakan Tremors will help her. If she puts that down there, they're not going to be able to leap away from it. They're just going to move around inside the Nox zone and be silenced and just tons of damage.
Well, there is a Nemesis final pick there for KLG as well, and the Kaos Latin Gamers, with that Nemesis, they will be able to shred the protections of the Sobek and the Cabrakan, but it's a very mid-game composition, this, I feel, coming out from KLG. They're going to have to get themselves in a really good spot with the Anhur early game, farm well there to really transition into a mid-game fight, because Anhur's pretty good against Artemis, honestly, in the laning phase for the most part, but when it transitions to late game, we know who's going to win.
So early mid-game, you can actually just ulti, Artemis ulti as Anhur, and you'll probably be fine, because you won't get stunned. However, late game, it doesn't really matter. If you pop your ultimate, you do less damage than you would without ulti, and you're not life-stealing. While you have an Artemis hitting you, probably critting you, for that matter, for a lot of damage. So it gets harder and harder for Anhur to deal with her later into the game.
There's Varizial on your screen now, just getting himself set up, ready to play this Thor in the jungle, and the combination from the mid lane here, Thor and Nox for enemy. How are you feeling about this? You're thinking against the Sol and obviously the Nemesis in the jungle, they should have control of this lane.
Yeah, they definitely should have. I believe KLG should have, on paper at least, control of the entire early and mid game, especially the mid camps. I'm looking at, a lot of fighting.
Well, as we're looking at all the players there on the screen, tell me, Zimsal, which role do you reckon is going to come down to most? Support versus support, mid versus mid, jungle versus jungle?
I believe if PandaCat actually gets the better of Zalonsix.
I didn't say Hunter versus Hunter, Zimp. It's fine. You did great. So you think it's going to be PandaCat over in the dual lane? It's going to be a big one?
Yeah, if he actually gets ahead on his Artemis, it's very hard to stop him, and we've seen it happen before.
Well, PainDeViande going to lead us into the game now, and here we go. Early on, I believe PainDeViande and the team will group up and look for a pick here with the Sobek, obviously. And they're going to find Nemesis there coming the other way, and KBIOLA recognizes that, rotates straight away immediately, and PainDeViande going to get a bit of poke there from Numeritos, and already good wall coverage coming out from Khaos.
Yeah, very good wall coverage towards the mid section of the map, recognizing that, they have a Sobek available, very dangerous indeed in the early game.
And they do get 3 wards down, 1 for the right Harpies, 1 for left, and 1 to even keep an eye on the rotations from mid to see where they're going to go here. Well, looking at the 2 comps here, we do have double power potion coming out for enemy. Varizial in the jungle on the Thor, as well as the Nox will pick that up. And you've got to be very careful of a Nox when she's got a power potion. You can underestimate her damage at level 2 if she does find the silence root combo.
If Thor comes in with a hammer, he doesn't even hit. He just needs to come in and spin. If he can confirm the Nox damage with any help with a stun, level 3, 2, that could easily translate to a kill.
Now, there's a lot of things with this Thor-Nox combination as well, because obviously if the root goes out from Khaos first of all, then it guarantees the double tap for Varizial as well, because you can't move. On top of that, you've also got the ability for Khaos to go inside Varizial and ult to a new lane and come out and gank as a 2-man unit.
A lot of synergy between Nox and Thor. I'm hoping we're going to see some plays like that. That would actually be amazing to see a Thor ultimate with a Nox coming out of there.
That'd be really fun if you do get to see it. As we look over to the dual lane here, they've just cleared out the camps, and PandaCat takes a lot of poke for free there, I want to say, against those boars. He didn't transfer it to PainDeViande as clean as he would have liked, and he didn't get much RNG with those Artemis passive crits.
No crits. Other than that, we're seeing a pretty standard start here from both teams.
I believe that what we've seen out of enemy here, though, is you see Varizial could have chosen to go mid earlier on, but went to the dual lane to help, solo lane to help out Marauder early.
PandaCat in trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble, actually. Oh, in Khaos, get first blood. And it's not Khaos, it's the Latin American.
It's not over.
They're looking for more. PainDeViande in trouble too. Pain's going to juke in the minions. But Daelon will get the kill. Double kill to Khaos. Welcome to the DreamHack, enemy. What a play.
What a play. I don't understand what PandaCat was doing so far up. I mean, they just completely dominated with a Bacchus leap, underestimated the Bacchus damage, I'm pretty sure, and then just perfect follow-up from the Hunter.
Well, there's one problem with this, and both of the kills went to the Bacchus. It would have been so much better if it went to the Anhur early on here. But he can at least get his boots and things online and get a few more wards down.
It would have, but in a situation like this, it's kind of hard to try to give kills away, because if you're Khaos right now, all you're looking for is just something to just get your lead. I think there was so much communication about that, probably just very hard to get the kills.
Well, Daelon here, be careful of this because he's under pressure here in the jungle. He did he found those 2 kills, but you could see Varizial and Khaos here looking to go aggressive, but they're not going to be able to find it, unfortunately. So KLG up 2-0 here at the moment. It's around a 500 gold lead, which isn't massive, and it all being on the support isn't as detrimental to enemies they may expect. But the problem is that, well, enemy did not expect that start in the dual lane.
Absolutely not. We see the jungle mid combo here of enemy trying to redeem for their dual lanes troubles here. Doesn't really work out that well for him.
It's a lot of dual lane trouble as well, because you expect them to, well, at least be respectful in that lane. I think they came in very passionate there, but against Bacchus and the Anhur as well, very aggressive composition that can really punish you if you make a mistake, and that's what they did.
And we saw what happened earlier, OMG against Panthera when a Sobek falls behind. You just end up blowing up when you actually go in there. And you're against a Nemesis, which means if you go in there, you don't get the pluck, instant Nemesis ulti into Soul ulti, and you're dead.
And they're lurking in the waters for PainDeViande here. He'll get protection shredded by the Nemesis ult, and those protections that you get from using it are just not going to come into effect. And obviously, well, look at this. Varizial going to the sky, looking around for some pressure. Not going to find it, though, just to fire him here, but gave himself the vision and the opportunity just to keep an wide eye on the whole map.
I wonder if Khaos actually saw it. I don't think they did, which means he won't lose that map pressure. If there was actually wards there to see, they would actually lose a lot of map pressure there, which could have meant, you know, objective control for Khaos.
Well, pressure in the mid lane here to Varizial, and he's going to go down too. Numeritos takes out Varizial. Looked like a lazy rotation that got punished. And the Latin American gamers are actually doing so well for themselves already.
This is an amazing start for Khaos. I don't think they could have asked for a better start, except maybe the 2 kills going on Anhur, but those are small things. Very interesting to see the wards here. They're neither wards for either team.
Not at the moment, there's not many on the map as KLG do return and pick up their red buff. Khaos continuing to farm out the mid lane here. And there's going to be a moment for enemy to, I guess, be a little bit passive now because it's all KLG. They're the aggressors and they're the ones finding the kills.
Interesting thing too with Khaos comp, if you look at it, how much armor shred they have to add the Guan Utah assault. You have the Nemesis ultimate, you have the Anhur passive.
Yeah, and all those 3 combining to allow Anhur to deal so much more damage in these fights.
Essentially true damage, right?
Pretty much on paper, yeah, that's exactly how it's going to be. So 4 minutes in now, an enemy in a rough situation for them early on. But when I actually mentioned rookies, well, international stage-wise, KLG, this is their first international LAN that they've ever been to, and they're up against enemy, and nobody would have seen this one coming so far.
Especially not against the first game they had, when they were so far behind, so early. This is an amazing start yet again. However, enemy is farming relatively well. They're only about 600 gold behind after 3 kills, including a first blood.
And those picks have been free, but you can see the experience there on the left-hand side, and it's relatively good. Obviously, at the bottom of that is the duo lane from enemy, which is not something you really want to see, but they have to be respectful of the Anhur in the early stages of the game. They've been punished for it already, but when you look at it and you mention the gold, those firearms have been under enemy's control the entire game so far. Very important for the gold.
Yeah, I feel like Khaos should maybe put a bit more focus on map control. You see the wards that are coming out, they actually have way superior ward control right now. You see 2 wards on the right side of the map. However, enemy does have control of the Gold Fury, as you see the wards. I wish they would kind of go for those kind of Fire Giant spawns instead, because again, I believe that's where most of this gold is coming from. If they actually took them, it probably would like a 1.5k gold lead.
Well, I do see KLG having a very good mid-game composition here up against enemy, and after this start means that they should transition to this nicely and even a little bit quicker than we may have expected. And you said, you know, against enemy, it's not going to be that easy to find that lead, but they found it so far.
They found it, and something we realized from last game is they can actually utilize the lead to their advantage and actually push the lead and snowball.
Talk about pushing the advantage. Look at KBIOLA over here then. He rotated all the way over to try and put some pressure on the solo lane, and Marauder now swinging towards mid lane as, well, they're grouping up around the Gold Fury. Pain leading in here, going to find the pluck there onto Bacchus, who's rooted in place in the silence, but it's only half health. Going to return some damage back to Varizial, forcing the Sanctuary on Varizial as he gets engaged, and again, bursted down. KBIOLA gets credit for the kill. Pain looking for the lurk in the walls to pick up on the back Bacchus as Anhur leaps in and picks up a kill on Khaos. PainDeViande does take out Daelon, the Bacchus, but a support for the 2 members of his team down, his mid and his jungle.
Perfect play by Daelon. He got initiated on and realized, okay, these guys are not ahead of us, we're actually ahead of them. Keeps his composure and goes for it. Oh, here we go.
Oh, good purification coming out immediately there from Zalon. He was in a lot of trouble, obviously with PandaCat being there as well. Just wait for him. He stepped a couple of times, tried to get a position, but the purification saved him. Go on to that fight for me though, because that little engagement around the Gold Fury, it was enemy that engaged it.
Yeah, enemy engaged because, like we talked about the Sobek earlier, right? If you're behind on Sobek, you're easy to blow up. And I love the fact that Daelon just realized, okay, I'm not gonna die yet. I'll keep, you know, my leap up, I'll keep my ulti up, finds the pick, and actually survives for quite some time while the rest of his team is dying.
When you look at this duo, the mid lane here between the mage and the jungler, well, the 2 that we expected to have to give up a lot in the early game are actually up kills. 2, 0, and 1 here for Numeritos on that Sol. And meanwhile in the jungle, KBIOLA on the Nemesis, he's managed to get himself an early kill, which is so important for a god like that.
Very important to get into the late game in a nice and safe pace. However, again though, goal lead about 500, even though it's 5-1, which is telling me that enemy are forming very well still. Khaos maybe should, you know, pick up the pace in the jungle and go for a bit more.
Well, they did just go for a bit more and find that red buff on that left-hand side, stealing that one away. Now they're going to get the left-hand harpies there. The Soul just returns to the mid lane once more. Khaos going to join Varizial. On the right side, though, Marauder starting to get a bit aggressive now. This Guardian started to come online a little bit more. Got those levels that are so important to them.
Yeah, he scales very well with the early game levels to get this, the damage on his abilities. Seems relatively unfazed by Beltway and the pressure from his jungle. You see him pushing very far up there without any words at all. I feel like maybe KBIOLA wants to abuse that fact. He has his ultimate available and now speed buff.
Well, the speed buff goes over to Varizial, and he can look for some opportunities if he can find it. 3 members in mid lane for enemy here, only with that 1 kill onto PainDeViande so far. And I think all they're really looking for here is just continue farming, keep this pace of gold income coming. Because as you said, 500 gold is not a lot for that scoreline.
That's true, and we see PainDeViande here leading his squad.
What should we see coming out of enemy now then? Do we want to see them look for a Gold Fury still? Should they sit back and wait for the mid game to be over from KLG? Or is it like time for them to try and turn up?
We did talk about, you know, late game and like Khaos maybe have an early mid game advantage, but I feel like their late game is not that bad, especially considering they have a Nemesis. However, it's not really going to work. If you're very late game and Sobek has full items, using your ultimate on him, if you actually don't manage to get the kill, not going to matter much.
Well, Marauder's a little bit overextended here. KBIOLA's going to go in and get some auto attacks off. Just looking to poke him a little bit, not trying to commit and use his ultimate off. And Marauder actually realizes that. He's like, well, if you're going to stick around, I'll fight you.
Yeah, and I think he realized that Beltway was very low on the Guan Yu, and that if they actually committed fully, he could have easily turned around, burst on the Guan Yu, and probably still get out.
Well, Bacchus back to the dual lane he goes here. Going to meet up with PainDeViande. Doesn't manage to find the stun from the Belch there, but it creates a little bit more room once again for Zalonsix on the Anhur, just to continue farming up, and it's all good here for the Kaos Latin Gamers.
It's very important for Khaos not to slow down the pace here. They need to keep getting these kills, keep taking the advantages before this goal lead disappears entirely, which we're seeing is shrinking and shrinking for every minute.
Every single minute, and obviously the longer this goes, the better it is, especially when you've got PandaCat on the Artemis. He may have tumbled for first blood here up against him, but he's got crit. He is Artemis after all. But on the right side, tune in, see Marauder still going at it with Beltway.
PandaCat actually ahead of levels on the Anhur. Mainly I think because Anhur didn't get the kills, but that just shows yet again how good PandaCat is farming in this lane. I feel like if there's any point where Zalon wants to take a fight, it's right now. Just jump in there, get a stun on the wall, and ulti when you see the Sobek in midlane, for example. There's no way to get help.
Maybe that's the difference between these two teams, and it's the fact that, yeah, KLG are finding the kills, but still, enemy are the ones finding the experience in gold, even more so.
I think maybe Khaos a little bit flustered here, or maybe just not really used, or didn't imagine themselves in this position. Maybe they would actually plan to play on the back foot.
Well, they're looking for Zalonsix here in the jungle. The block misses, but some good poke onto him. But the rotation now coming out from KLG. Numeritos is going to use the supernova to zone PandaCat back, but PainDeViande also zoning back the Latin Gamers. It's not so bad overall. It was the enemy that engaged there.
A little back and forth there. Well, we see Marauder get the better out of Beltway in the solo lane, which means that XP lead for Marauder is going to just keep increasing now. That's
really important, just because he did use his teleport is going on cooldown here. He's not going to be able to go for it, but look at this. KBIOLA's going aggressive on Varizial, and Varizial just stood there and took it. He didn't realize it was that low. Bursted down by Nemesis there. Lack of respect from Varizial, and he got heavily punished.
So something extremely important here to notice. Guan Yu backed, no teleport, forced to run back to his lane as you see Marauder rotating for a gold free because a call came out instantly. As soon as Thor died, he knew.
Oh, here's the ult coming out from Khaos, looking to steal, an enemy will steal this one away. The silence is on point 2. Marauder crediting for the kill onto Bacchus. Now they may look for one or more, but they don't need to. They got the gold fury, they got what they came for. The steal was good.
That was all on Marauder. Forcing back that Guan Yu, forcing him to just walk back to lane while he was rotating. He knew there was no way Guan Yu was going to be there on time. Otherwise, he might have lost tower. So they just end up getting the gold free.
Well, the #1 NA champions are coming through here and looking to pressure the tier 1 tower in mid lane as well after the gold fury. You saw the meditate come out as well there just to sustain them. With a full minion wave, this tower will fall. And with that, the gold lead clearly in enemy's favor.
Yeah, that was just a misplay by Khaos, big time. You see XP difference now 2,000 ahead for enemy. They just swung this game back in their favor instead.
Oh, and now Zalonsix under a bit of pressure there, but didn't manage to find the route. Did Khaos, unfortunately, so he will leap away. But can we just go back to the experience graph a second? Because when you see it here, it's before the 9-minute mark. It was all enemy's favor. Even though they lost a lot of early kills, they were still out farming KLG.
Yeah, Khaos had a big lead, a slight lead, I'd say, in experience. It wasn't that huge, but now they lost everything.
Oh, that wall was on point, but the cavalry charge should get him away. He gets through the tiniest gap. Varizial in the sky, though, recognizing he can't follow up because of the rotation coming from Nemesis, so he's going to return to the blue, but maybe they want a little bit more here because KBIOLA is still here on the Nemesis, hanging around to see if Marauder does end up coming back to lane, and he does. And now KLG rotating to the right-hand side themselves.
If I'm KLG here, I'd be happy to trade a Guan U ult for the Thor ult any day, especially when this tower is this low, because you don't really need it to get it down, and you know Thor has no engage. So if you're Anhur now in the dual lane, or if you're just pushing the solo lane as a team, you're not really scared of the Thor initiation, and Guan Yu can still do his job anyway in terms of just healing, you know, applying pressure. Thor, a bit hard to get in there.
Chaos going to get a root off there onto KBIOLA, who's going to get stunned from behind there from Marauder, but the shield comes out in time to protect him, and he dashes away. Pain, though, did dash in there. Now he's in trouble as well, getting bursted quite heavily, but PandaCat's made a rotation. The Caledonian Boar is here, and the Haunter from NA is going off. Double kill to him, looking for the triple. Whole team of enemy now running down Numeritos on this soul. Disapparate now on cooldown, and Chaos closes the gap to help secure this kill. Still a burst on point. Sanctuary on point from Numeritos, but that is a delayed triple kill for PandaCat from enemy.
Yeah, that was an interesting team fight there. What happened was Soul did a lot of damage, didn't really get quite enough out before, you know, to kill the Artemis. And as we talked about before, PandaCat on the Artemis, once he's in this position, I'm pretty sure he's not looking to get, you know, a loss on that 0 he has.
And that was a really important rotation from PandaCat there too, because Chaos just took the tier 1 tower, and they looked like they were going to stay there and maybe pressure the tier 2, and then PandaCat turns up in the jungle. It's like, well, this is a mistake now, because PandaCat picking up 3 kills there, already level 15, it's just going to accelerate his build even faster.
And that ultimate in those situations, so crucial. I mean, that board is just going to bounce everywhere, and it's very hard to deal with. If you blow your beads to get rid of the board, as we see Zalonsix engage
There's a Fury actually used there by Zalonsix, worried about the pluck coming out from PainDeViande. He immediately leaps back to the jungle there, just worried about getting aggressed on any further. So it's all good stuff for him just to stay away and keep alive.
If you're forced to beat the Artemis ultimate and Nox actually lands a combination on you, you're pretty much done for, because that damage is too much already at this point. You see her with Chronos Pendant and boots available. I think all the things that happen negatively for Chaos. Okay, we see the Thor coming in.
Thor is in the sky right now, looking to dunk down, but who would it be on at the moment? He's still there, waiting, and he's going to be looking for the Soul. Soul gets a good supernova off, though, but the dot damage from Chaos is good enough. KBIOLA comes on the back, looking for Chaos, though, and Chaos needs support. He's getting good body blocks from Varizial, though, to zone him out. Now Marauder with the tremors will isolate him, too. Chaos will get away, as Panda gets credit for 1. Beltway's also going to leave here, and now it's poor old Bacchus left alone. Double tap connects, and Chaos cleans up another kill. Finally, enemy are in the lead where we expected them to be.
I think they got a bit ahead of themselves there. They should have peeled back a little bit, not chased the knocks around so much on the Nemesis. Tried to fall back with the team. They got a little bit excited. Oh, she's almost dead, you know, you try to go for that. Didn't quite work out this time.
It seems they've stepped it up a little bit, enemy here. Now they've pressured mid lane once more, going it into the right-hand side jungle. Going to find the speed buff available for themselves, but maybe they want a couple more picks. Pain going to zone away Beltway there from even looking at contesting this one. And they will steal away the speed buff and even looking for the back harpies too, as PandaCat gets the tier 1 tower.
Interesting enough, this game is actually in favor of enemy purely because KS made very slight misplays that translated into way bigger things, like Eftel talked about before, the butterfly effect, right? So the entire thing in the soul lane and then the Artemis rotation in the jungle, those 2 things are the only reason why enemies are ahead right now.
And that's really helped them out so much. I mean, also the early game farming. Farming as a whole is so important to the game. Kills are important, but overall, it's farm and structures that win the game for you. Not kills. Kills mean nothing overall if you can't find the objectives.
We've seen it time and time again. Teams actually opting to go for kills instead of backing together as a group, get a pick, go for that Gold Fury, go for the tower. As we see, Chaos actually initiating Gold Fury.
They are looking at it, but it immediately reset as they see Chaos and Varizial round here looking at them. PandaCat and PainDeViande now turn up as well as a ward war begins. It's going to go in the favor of enemy here, so we should see Chaos just back up a little bit with the rest of the boys of enemy here. Just head back to mid lane, but Marauder engaging here, looking for the pick here onto Numeritos, who's had to disapparate very, very early.
Good use of disapparate there, and it feels like enemy has a bigger lead than 3K at this point. It's not actually that substantial, but the way they're playing makes it impossible for KS to do anything without committing 100%.
Look there onto Bacchus, who's now silenced and can't escape. The route is good, but he gets his Intoxicate off in time. Supernova used there by Numeritos, but he gets isolated away by Varizial, so he can't come in. Talk about isolation. Beltway will fall down as well. 10-7, and now enemy, they're turning up the heat and looking for the Gold Fury.
So Bacchus got a 5-man ulti there, I believe. However, enemy was a little bit too healthy for Kaos to keep fighting, which is a little bit unfortunate. And they get the gold fury down.
They do get the gold fury, but now the engage is going to continue here. Anhur leaps over the wall, but the wall from Varizial is on point. Traps him on the other side. Desert Fury in response, and Marauder will get credit for the kill. Numeritos in mid lane, being isolated by Kaos once more, forced back to the tier 2 tower. Marauder swinging around, doesn't have his ultimate available, but he's tanky enough to tank this up, and Numeritos knows it. He's isolating himself in a corner though. Sanctuary on point. Marauder's going to die for this though, but they will trade him and make sure they pick up Numeritos.
Yeah, I don't think that Marauder expected the Sanctuary to come out of the soul. She survived for quite a bit. Doesn't really matter though, as this tier down is definitely gonna go down. There's nothing the Bacchus can do other than burp on him.
Tier 2 tower falls.
Actually going in here.
Yeah, he looks like he was going for the pick on PainDeViande, but now he's been baited into a bad situation. No flop away available, but well played by Kaos and PandaCat here. They're gonna retreat, realizing it's gonna take a lot of investment and a lot of chase to go after and find that Bacchus kill.
Yeah, if on the flip side you have Kaos, who actually always chase for those kills. Almost it feels like they're actually going for these kills, and it's costing them the game right now. They need to be more focused and more disciplined. We've seen this from numerous teams, especially newer SPL teams, where they would just go for the kills instead of just falling back, making sure they get the objective. Much like Panthera.
Do you reckon the morale's dropped a little bit? Because like they've lost the last few engagements, and that one where they lost on the right-hand side where PandaCat rotated and picked up 3 kills, it just seems that since then, the wind has been knocked out of the sails of Kaos Latin Gamers here, and now they just sat back like, all right, we'll let enemy come to us now instead of being as aggressive as they were.
Yeah, it's looking that way, at least. It looks like now they're playing on the back foot, we mentioned before. Again, though, didn't really work out that well in the first game that they had of the day. So I don't think that's going to translate well. I think they need to keep... They can still be offensive.
Look, onto Beltway here, into a wall, but it's going to conviction and just charge back towards his tower. With the rotation coming in here from Daelon as well. 3 members of KLG around, no Gold Fury available for anyone to take, so it's not a problem seeing so many members on this solo lane side of the map.
Yet again, we see PandaCat actually with the rotation, knowing that, you know, Fire Giant is available, and they're gonna make sure... actually he opts for the blink here.
He always goes for the blink. PandaCat is famous for it. Loves to go for it because he can initiate a fight if he wants to. And he's actually going to find the cavalry charge being forced there from Beltway. With so many members of enemy grouped up here, they're looking for the tier 1 tower. There's only 4 members of Kaos around.
Forced to charge there, absolutely for free. Not a single ultimate used on the side of enemy, which is a huge win in itself. Without Guan ultimate up, there's not much he can do except just being a heal buff.
Numeritos caught off by the side, has to use the purification and evaporate to get away. But instead, it's poor old Daelon gonna go down again because of the silence coming out from Kaos.
This knock silence has been absolutely huge in these team fights.
The fight's still going on. Numeritos still trying to get away. Varizial taking tower shots, but does get out as well. Dumps the backside, but they're still looking for the tier 2. They get what they came for. They may even find Beltway as well, and they will. 2 kills to enemy, a tier 2 tower, and it looks like the boys of enemy are still marching on downright.
You know, from a 3k lead just a few minutes ago to a 10k deficit now for Kaos. Enemy at 10k gold ahead. And with this Phoenix, that's going to be huge trouble for Kaos.
This Phoenix is going down too because they're not even worried about minions here. Unfortunately enough, though, that's not a good situation for KBIOLA to be in. He stayed in very aggressively there, but he will get out thanks to the double dash. His Phoenix, however, will not survive.
And you see the difference between the teams here. Enemy very, very reliant on the calls here, probably of PainDeViande saying, you know, let's go back, let's go for objectives, let's just not chase the kills. I believe on Kaos side, it's more like, you know, they're getting someone low. And the feeling as a player when you're on the land and you get someone low, you just want to finish a kill because it can mean so much for you. You kind of tunnel vision and forget about everything going around you.
You talk about tunnel vision, you saw Daelon do that in the support role as well. He went aggressive for Pain earlier on and he got picked because of it, because somebody was escaping with low health. And Pain now, level 15 here, working towards his build once again, Sovereignty online with the Heart Ward Amulet. And now obviously Mantle of Discord picked up too. He's going to be able to stun everybody around him if they're close up when he does get low on health.
And we talked about, you know, playstyle here for the support or for the entire team of Kaos. And we talked about being passive or more aggressive. Now they have no choice really than to be passive, hopefully get a good fight under the Phoenix.
I'll tell you what, they might have to be some sort of aggressive because the Fire Giant's being looked at by an enemy now. They've started it up. PandaCat is actually auto-attacking it from max range here, and now Bacchus recognizes it. One you around the side by Beltway, going to try and cover the option, but there is Marauder, there is PainDeViande. They're trying to force him into a fight here. Varizial in the sky, PandaCat already engaging, looking for a pick there. there onto the Soul. Disapparating now down, and Varizial going to close the gap. Sanctuary already used. Supernova going to knock him up, but it's not enough to stop Varizial going all the way in looking for the kill, but still Soul is alive, and Varizial gets punished. 4 members of the Latin Gamers rotate and pick him up. It's a 1-for-1 jungler for support.
Varizial and Numeritos actually did really good plays there. If you notice, when Thor dunked down, he instantly Aegis just to avoid the Soul ultimate damage.
Well, PainDeViande actually missing that charge there, and the pillar's going to slow him down, escaping. Good damage coming out from Zalonsix, as Khaos doesn't manage to find the route he was looking for, and now it's Pain on zone duty again. But the Kaos Latin Gamers getting a little bit more aggressive here as Marauder comes round too, and off to the side is Anhur just raining free damage down as the cavalry charge comes out too. Kaos Latin Gamers are backing up, but they got won a good poke wall there.
And now you see enemy quite low here. Sobek and Marauder, they're about half HP, a little bit more, 60% maybe. Let's see here if Beltway can pull off the Trix tank.
Well, he doesn't have his ultimate available. Trix did that to manage to find it, but maybe they can slow them down enough. Enemy were forced off it last time and actually chose to attack. And now, well, Zalonsix is looking for poke on Khaos and finding a lot of free poke. And Zalonsix doesn't care about Khaos' silences. He wants to fight him. He's out of mana though, and Varizial now coming back into this fight, picks up Beltway. Going to take to the sky as well, as Pain is very, very low in this fight, and actually gets picked up by Soul. Varizial dunks in and actually won't find a single pick as Daelon takes out Marauder in this fight, but Khaos' snipe on the left is good, as Varizial's now running for his life away from KBIOLA. KBIOLA can find a double kill. KBIOLA will find a double kill, but PandaCat versus 2 now. He's out of mana, but he's wanting to fight. KBIOLA coming on the back. Shield comes up, the trap is good, but is the trap good enough to escape? Panda, run for your life, because Nemesis is coming for you, and Nemesis, well, he should be able to find you. He's so worried. He's so scared of the fire minions again. Zalonsix is now coming in too. They have to give up the kill. They're not going to find it.
So close, and yet again, we see again how they just go for the kills. They're very risky. I mean, if PandaCat finds a single crate on the Nemesis, she's gone.
I thought they were going to go all the way in, then the fire minions came into play. I'm like, oh no, this could go terrible here for them.
I must say though, 3-4-4, I believe.
And they also got the teleport out of Varizial, who came back to that fight. Varizial died at the start, comes back with a teleport, dies again.
Yeah, and this was all with about an 8k deficit in gold, which means several items for enemy on top of a few XP leads, which means they're still alive in Khaos, right? They still have a chance to win this, even, like we talked about before, they might not perform as well on the back foot, but showing me wrong here.
It's true, but enemy, I mean, the Fire Giant there, they made a couple of misplays, I want to say. They engaged instead of like continuing the Fire Giant. Then when they were getting engaged on, they weren't zoning. They just allowed the team of Kaos Latin Gamers to come in, and that created all that issue that we just saw.
And Soul with the Disperse Sanctuary combo, very hard to get down. You see a lot of energy and abilities being focused onto her. Manages to survive most of these team fights, and enemy just, taking a lot of damage from her.
Well, what enemy are doing now, though, is the goal for you to continue extending this lead and make it a little bit more comfortable. Try to finish off these 6 items for most of the team as well. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, 3 members of enemy defending here, looking for the pick on Soul, and Soul's in a world of hurt already. Disapparate already used, and Marauder's here with Khaos inside him, and they're trying to chop him in, but Disapparate lasted too long. Instead, they will find Zalonsix, who's going to lead point to Varizial, who was on the backside looking to dunk down. Marauder under pressure, going to find the pick on Zalonsix because of Khaos as well. Bacchus in the mix, trying to do what he can to slow them down, but the silence was just so good from Khaos there on that Nox to keep them in place. And in the end, Daelon goes down, and Khaos picks up a double kill for enemy.
PandaCat, an absolute beast in this situation. You can see his autos just hitting everything all the time. And, Artemis level 20 with this many items. He's actually finishing his 6th item as we speak. Just doing too much damage to handle, especially if you actually get to hit the Anhur like he did.
Well, Beltway just came in with a teleport there, going to get silenced immediately, but he's slowing him down here in the Fire Giant. He doesn't have his ultimate available, and instead they're trying to burst him down, and they will find the crit from PandaCat, who will succeed in another kill for himself. Now 8, 1, and 12 with 29,000 player damage.
Enemy learned from the last engage here. They just take a fight instead of taking too much damage from the Fire Giant instead. Yeah, what a performance indeed. 9, 1, 12. I mean, these are the same stats he would perform at, online in the SPL.
And to be fair, his Artemis is undefeated.
undefeated.
And he's still going to be undefeated by the looks of it, looking at the way this has gone for him so far. Fire Giant on all the members of enemy now. Still 3 members dead of the Kaos Latin Gamers. Not going to try and defend this weakened Phoenix too much, but they can look for defending the mid Phoenix here. Oh, sorry, the left-hand side at least, because they're still going to wait for 2 more members to spawn.
Yeah, this is most likely going to be 2 Phoenixes down here for Chaos. What they could do, like you just said, defend the left. They shouldn't put any resources on here, but they're doing it.
Well, they're looking for still pressure here as PandaCat's all attacking it down, but look at the damage he just did to Beltway and the Caledonian Bull. Toski comes to the rescue for the kill. Now they're going to pick up Daelon as well. That's the front line of KLG dead.
So at least they're waiting for their teammates to actually respawn. They just try to defend the mid Phoenix. 3 versus 5 against a Fire Giant team with all the skill potential. I would have liked them to just fall back a little bit towards the Titan, let them have what they want in mid, and just go full on defense on the right Phoenix instead.
Well, now the left Phoenix is all on his own at the moment. There's only 3 members here to defend, and they're all squishy targets. And so, already below half health, bursted very, very heavily. 1 hit from death, Marauder credited for the kill. The final Phoenix will fall as well, 27-13, as now KBIOLA, who's had a fantastic game on Nemesis, let's be honest, is now left alone to try and fight off the horde that is enemy marching on his base, and they're going to take his life.
Defeat is imminent here for Chaos as enemy is just pounding down his Titan.
Pounding down the Titan indeed. They're still looking for kills though. The Titan is slowly falling, 2,000 health left on it, but the members of KLG are still here to defend. But eventually enemy get game 1, but KLG, they came with a big, big game there.
I get a deja vu from the OMG Panthera game here. I mean, these teams, these international teams are really performing. I believe the enemy might be a little bit worried going into game 2. This is not as crystal clear as so many people would have predicted.
Well, look at this team as well. Let's take into account Varizial, new to the stage, PandaCat, new to the stage, and Marauder, new to the stage. They weren't on the game as a whole to begin with. I mean, even PandaCat and PainDeViande, they had trouble in that dual lane at the start there. Didn't work out for him, and from that moment onwards, it kind of put them on the back foot and allowed KLG to control the early stages of the game.
When you asked me about the matchups, what role did I mention? I
you mentioned PandaCat. Well done, Zim. Well done. Well done. You're the best analyst I've ever worked with.
Yeah, thank you. I know.
You're European, so of course you are.
He's amazing. You just saw what it did there to the entire team as Artemis late game. You just cannot give this guy Artemis anymore. It's just, I predict game 2 ban on Artemis here for KLG side. It would be wise to do so. They didn't manage to quite, I mean, sure, they got 2 kills. However, they got him a Bacchus early, right? Maybe if they went on Anhur.
On your screen right now at home, and you can see the aggression that he put out with this. This ball makes such an impact in that fight. Just ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong is what it was. It was like a pinball machine with Toski just going around picking up the kills, and eventually they pick up the triple here. It's a delayed triple for him, but just good rotation that came out from him, and he was ready to play. And I think, honestly, his death as First Blood was an instigator in this performance.
Perhaps. Maybe he felt like, you know, okay, we just got to take this very, very seriously now. We can't afford to die anymore because I need my late game guys. So, you know, let's just start winning, and that's what they did.
But he's very calm, as you can see on the screen there.
Very
taking his drinks of water, 10, 1, and 14 in that game. Over 30,000 player damage in that game. Pretty insane performance from him. Mid lane, though, bit of a different story. I want to say in the jungle overall, Varizial struggled a little bit in that game to begin with, but here you can see the stats online right now, and at the end of that, this is exactly how it all looked there. 3,000 healing versus 4,000. Kill-wise, well, it's 28-13, as you can see, and PandaCat, 34,700 player damage. That is insane. He basically did Sol and Anhur together. Crazy.
Yeah, PainDeViande did more damage than the solo jungle and support, not together, but individually of KLG, which is a testament to just, you know, how far ahead they were.
And we were saying as well, like, you're quite surprised by the performances coming out from the international teams over in North America and Europe. We expect it to be dominated by those 2 regions still at the moment, but the gap is closing here, Zimstar, and it's closing relatively quickly because Worlds was only a few months ago, and it's not as big of a gap anymore by the looks of it. Picks and bans seem similar, and even playstyles are getting that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. And as more teams actually get better in these regions, the more practice they're going to get. That is actually qualitative practice instead of just this quantitative practice we're getting now, just playing a lot of teams and winning a lot. So hopefully in 6 months, you know, we're going to see China up there with the trophy.
You're calling China for it?
Maybe, yeah, I believe China.
No call for China. When we look at these teams as well, I mean, also, you mentioned, like, when you're the best in the region, and you had this for a little while with Paradigm when you were, you know, coaching them and in charge of them as a manager. With Paradigm, when you're the top, it's hard to get better because there's nothing else.
It's interesting. After TSM, you know, we were in TSM during the Smite launch tournament back in 2014, early in March, and after that, you know, we had several members starting to, you know, perform as well, because you get this target on your back, and I think that's why maybe Panthera struggled a little bit today against OMG, and now Enemy is struggling against a little bit, not struggling that hard, but during the early mid game, as we predicted, against KLG.
But also KLG, well, this LAN experience for them is good because they're the best in their region too. To manage to make it here,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
experience is just going to escalate their playstyle even further.
Again, I just want to stress this is the first time they're on an international LAN,
Yeah.
which is amazing to me that, you know, they can keep the composure, because a lot of time nerves will play a huge part, especially playing against a team you know has a track record for being good, especially with, you know, PainDeViande in their Chaos, proven players.
We're into